Okay, so good afternoon class. So alam ko naman na malapit na yung pre-finals niya. So this will be your review on business law. So if you are not my student, you are welcome to watch this para may matutunan din kayo sa obligation if you want lang naman. Anyway, this will only serve as your review for your pre-finals. So cover to cover tayo na. So, review natin. So, what is a law on obligation? So, pag sinabi po nating law on obligation, is an obligation, a juridical necessity to give, to do, or not to do. So, when we say to give, kailangan natin magbigay. To do, mga dapat nating gawin. And not to do, yung hindi dapat natin gawin. Okay? Ano yung dalawang type ng obligation? So, we have here a natural and civil. So, pag sinabi nating natural and civil, ano yung pinagkaiba ng natural versus civil? Okay, sa civil po, unahin natin yung civil na. Sa civil po, there is a legal sanction if hindi mo gawin yung obligation mo. So, for example, if may utang tayo na 20,000, si X may utang na 20,000 kay Y, tapos hindi mo yan gawin or hindi ka magbayad kan Y ng utang mo na 20,000, pwede ka pong kasuhan ni Y and pumunta siya sa court and there is a legal sanction for you. So, magbabayad ka ng utang plus yung interest na or any damages na na-experience ni Y sa'yo. Diba? So, kung kayo dyan, kung may utang kayo, bayaran nyo na. Kasi, kaysa naman, there is a sanction if hindi mo yan gawin. Okay. How about natural obligation? Pag natural obligation po, nasa konsensya na po yan ng debtor. Sa konsensya natin kung magbabayad ba tayo or hindi. Let's say for example, X and Y again, may utang na 20,000. Then, sa 1 year period na yon, hindi pa nagbabayad, sa 1 year period na yon, hindi pa nga nagbabayad si X, pero si Y, hindi rin nagde-demand. Kumbaga, parang nakakalimutan niya na may utang siya, no? So, let's say, sa batas ngayon, there is a 1 year prescription na hindi ka naman lang nagde-demand. Tapos, or let's say 5 years, ganun na, tapos parang wala na talaga. So, hindi ka nagde-demand, kan X na bayaran yung utang. Then, yung civil obligation is magiging natural obligation, sir. Okay? Magiging natural obligation siya kasi si X is nasa konsensya na niya kung magbabayad siya kay Y ng 20,000 pesos. Okay. Ngayon naman, what if sir nagbayad si X kan Y? Kung magbabayad naman si X kan Y, then yung 20,000 na po yun ay hindi na pwede niyang bawiin. Kasi ipoprotektahan din ng system natin yung rights ni Y to demand that 20,000, to demand kung ano man yung obligation na X sa kanya. Okay? So, take note, pag civil obligation, this is from positive law or substantive law. Kung ano yung nakalagay sa batas, susundin po natin. Pag natural obligation naman, based on equity and natural law. Sa konsensya na po yun ng tao, kung bibigay siya o hindi, or gagawin niya yung obligation niya. Okay, ayan pa. Next example natin yung kanina. Okay, ito. Try natin ito na. Kapag nagmana ka naman ng real property from your parent, then if ang parent mo ay may utang noon, siya ay nabubuhay pa lang, limit lang ang pwede niyang singilin sa creditor. Ito ay base lang sa amount of property ng parent mo. Okay, para mas maintindihan natin, illustrate natin, no? Okay, let's say si X and Y mag-asawa. Kaya mag-asawa to. Mag-asawa. Then may anak kayo na may anak siya lang si A. Ngayon, si X and Y namatay. Pag namatay si X and Y, namatay si X and Y, gusto niyang ipamana daw yung lupa at bahay. Ito yung real estate. pwede niya ipamana yung lupa at bahay kay A. Ngayon, what if si X and Y, nung nabubuhay pa siya, may utang sila na 5 million. Okay, since may utang si X and Y na 5 million, pero yung pinamana nila kan X, kan A, pinamana nila kan A, ang worth lang nito ng bahay and lupa, let's say, 3 million. Ngayon, dumating si J. Kasi si J, sila yung may utang kan X and Y, may utang sila kan J na worth 5 million nung nabubuhay pa sila. So that is worth 5 million. Now we have here 3 million. Okay? 3 million yung worth lang ng real estate nung namatay sila, yung pinamana kay A. Now, what if ngayon si J, since namatay na nga si X and Y, sisingilin niya na yung anak nila. Okay, ganito lang po yan. Ang worth lang po na pwede isingil ni J kan A is worth of 3 million lang po. Kasi ito lang po yung napamana niya. Okay, ganun po, no? Hindi naman pwede niyang singilin si A ng buong 5 million. Kasi at the first place, hindi naman talaga siya yung utang. So, ang pwede niya lang ibayad is kung ilan yung amount na inutang ng parent niya. Ay ilan lang yung amount na pinamana sa kanya. So, yung real estate, yung bahay, yung lupa, let's say 1.5 million, then yung lupa is 1.5, then that is 3 million in a total. So, yung pwede lang isingil ni Zay kay A is 3 million. Okay. Now, what if sir si A magbayad ng 5 million? Pwede pa niya yung bawiin niya. What if bayaran niya ni A yung buong 5 million? Kasi gawin natin 5 million na. Yung 2 million dito, ay galing sa sarili niyang pera. What if sir, itong 2 million, dinagdag niya sa 3 million, ginagawang 5 million para bayaran ng lahat ng utang ng parent niya nung nabubuhay pa sila. Pwede niya ba itong bawiin kung nabayad niya? Hindi na po. Okay na? So, kung magbayad man siya ng ng worth 5 million sakto kay Zay, pwede po yun, no? Kung tatanggapin din ni Zay. So, yung 5 million na yun is valid payment. And he cannot reimburse. Pwedeng bawiin yung 2 million kan Zay kasi binayad niya na. Okay, what are the essential elements of obligation? So, we have here above. So, we have active, passive, object, and vinculum juris. So, pag sinabi natin active, ito yung obligee or creditor. So, they have the right to demand. Okay, let's say for example, yung kanina, si X and Y, si Y po yung obligee dito, no? Kasi siya may right to demand, siya yung sisingil. So, here, active. Okay. Active. Siya yung creditor. Pag passive naman, siya yung obligor. Siya yung may utang. And object. Ito yung subject matter natin. So, to give, to do, or not to do. So, kung let's say kanina, let's say have a new example, A, obligation niya magbigay ng TV. No? TV ang bibigay niya, can be, si B po ay yung creditor, si A po yung obligor, siya yung magbabayad. And object po is, hindi lang po word na TV, but to give the TV. Okay? Take note, wag po sasagot ng TV na word lang. So, dapat to give the TV. Now, what if ano naman sir yung vinculum juris? So, pag vinculum juris is an efficient cause or yung juridical tie. So, this is an agreement. So, to give the TV, okay, through an agreement. So, through an agreement, A promised to give a specific TV. Set to be. Again, si A dito yung creditor or yung passive subject kasi siya yung may obligation to give the specific TV. And to give the specific TV is that is a object, okay? And B naman is a creditor. Through an agreement is being conjured. So ito yung example, no? These are the essential elements of obligation. So what is the general rule in transmissibility of obligation? So transmissibility. So we have here general rule in transmissibility of obligation. We have number 1. Kapag naman daw purely or strictly personal in nature, the qualification and skills of a person. So lahat daw ng bagay na papasa, okay, lahat daw are transmissible. Siyempre, yung pagiging yung ano man yung purely or strictly personal in nature, hindi po yan pwede mapasa. Okay, let's say for example, sa'yo na lang tong papa ko, bibigyan kita ng 2 million. So that is a void contract, no? Kasi in nature, papa mo yan. So hindi mo pwedeng ibigay agad yung papa mo sa iba. Okay. Again, what if naman sir, kung yung papa mo, di mo gusto, no? Hindi pa rin po pwede, no? So in personal in nature, hindi po pwede. Okay, how about by stipulation? The right to sublease is granted by law but may be prohibited by stipulation. Okay, let's say for example, if A nagparenta kan B, so ito yung nagrenta, lease. Ay, nagparenta si B ang nagrenta, tapos ito yung narerentahan niyang bahay, gusto niya rin daw iparenta kan C. Ngayon, what if ang tanong daw kung itong bahay na to ay pwedeng mapasa kan C yung title? Siyempre, hindi po pwede, no? Kasi yung pagmamayari ng bahay na yun is naka A pa rin. So, in nature or by stipulation, hindi po pwede. Okay. So, by provision of law naman, here as the use of rock. Okay. Here as the use of rock. Let's say, si A, B, and C. Ngayon, si A namatay by old age. Then gusto niya yung title ng lupa is can C. Pero yung gagamit lang, let's say si C minor pa lang, then si B, yung title ng lupa ay pwede niyang gamitin. Then pwede niyang tayo ng business. Yung amount of profit or yung use of rock na kay B. Pero pag ito nag-legal age na si C, pwede niya nang mamana yung lupa. Yung pwede lang po maunahin ni C is yung lupa mismo, yung naked title lang. Okay, yung title lang. Pero yung profit is hindi na po. Okay? Pero depende din kung stipulated. Pag stipulation, kung nakasaad sa contract or sa will ni A, na kapag namatay siya, pati yung use of practice mapupunta din kan C or yung sa anak niya. Next, we have sources of obligation. Number 1, law, contracts, quasi-contract, for delays, and 5, quasi-delays. So, pag sanabi po nating law, principle ng place established in community by some authority, relation, custom, policy, and enforced by juridical decision. So, pag sinabi natin, law again, obligation ex lege. Is obligation from law are presumed? Siyempre, no. Only those expressly determined in special laws are demandable. So, ano yung mga example natin dito sa law, source of obligation? So, we have a duty to support and duty to pay taxes. So, ito yung duty to support, si mama and papa nyo, they have this obligation to support you sa pag-aaral nyo. Now, meron dito ang example na naalala ko lang, what if daw nag-utang sa'yo ang parent mo like 5,000. Nag-utang yung parent mo ng 5,000 sa'yo. Tapos hindi nagbayad yung parent mo. Tapos sinabi ng parent mo na hindi na siya magbabayad kasi siya naman daw yung nagpalaki sa'yo. So, sa law, syempre, obligation po yun ng parents. So, that is her duty to support you. So, she or he is still liable for that payment. So, yeah. Pero sa iyo din yan as anak kung gusto nyo pa rin isingilin yung magulang niya. Anyway, how about naman daw duty to pay taxes? So, duty to pay taxes naman, everyone who have the rights given by the government also have the obligation to pay the tax. Kasi, let's say for example, kung tatayo ka ng business, the right to build a business, the right to use the land owned by the government, you have also an obligation to pay the taxes for you to operate the business. So, ganun lang po yan, no? Now, let's have number 2, contracts. So, obligation X contract. So, it is the meeting of minds between two persons, whereby one by himself to deliver thing and the other one to pay the price. So, one classic example here is the buyer and seller. So, if the buyer want to buy an item from the seller, then they need a contract, an agreement, or the meeting of minds na si buyer nag-oo na bibilhin niya ng worth 10,000 pesos yung cellphone na yon. Then si seller pumayag din. There is an agreement na yung cellphone na yon is i-deliver niya once na nabayaran na ni buyer. So upon perfection and upon delivery of the contract. So that is an example of contract. So magiging valid po yun, no? So that is a source of obligations. Depende saan yung source of obligation is nasa contract. How about number 3? Quasi-contract. Sa quasi-contract naman daw, obligation X quasi-contracto, a juridical relation resulting to lawful unilateral acts by virtue. So, yung sinasabi lang dito, no one will unjustly enrich or benefit at the expense of another. So, we have here two types. We have negosyarum gestio and solusio indebiti. So, pag negosyarum gesto, di ba, naalala nyo pa yung example ko, what if daw si manager ng business, okay, business to, pumunta ng Canada, without or with the intention of leaving the business. So, dapat daw talagang iniwan niya, no? There's an abandonment sa business niya. So, without the intention to return, iniwan niya yung business niya dito sa Pilipinas. Okay, si M, manager ng business, pumunta sa Canada para magbakasyon, pero hindi niya talaga sinabi na babalik siya sa business. Now, Y, nandito si Y, nakita niya yung business na yun, uy, sayang naman ito. What if alagaan ko? No? Kung hindi naman siya inauthorize na M, di ba? Has not been tacitly authorized, pero si Y, inalagaan niya yung business na yon, naggasto siya para sa business na yon, kumita siya para sa business na yon. Pero si M, nakikinabang pa rin sa mga transaction na nangyayari sa Y. Then, ang negosyo gesto lang po doon is there is a unjustly enrichment. So, kung nakikinabang si M, kung wala naman siyang ginagawa, pero kumikita pa rin dahil yung si Y, inalagaan niya pa rin yung business niya. So, that's it. No, doon po yung nag-asam gesture. So, what if, sir, may intention bumalik? So, there is no negotiation gesture kung may intention bumalik yung manager. What if naman, sir, pinayagan si Y na maging manager habang wala siya. So, that is also no negotiable gesture kasi pinayagan. Again, there are two things. No? Una, walang intention bumalik. And number two is the manager has been not tacitly authorized. So, ano yung obligation of the owner? So, lahat ng expenses na nagawa ni Y, yung manager, kailangan niyang i-reimburse yun. Tapos, dapat an acting in good faith naman kung in-prevent naman ni Y yung business niya for any calamity na pumunta doon, pinaprotektahan niya yun, ano man yung mga ginastos niya. So, that is also a reimbursement na gagawin ni M. How about obligation of the manager? Again, continue the same. Kung ano man yung dating palakad ni manager dati sa business niya, kailangan continue ni Y. Perform his duty and diligence of father, liable if he delegates to another person, then 2 or more months solidary liable. Again, pag solidary liable, kung si Y kung dalawa, Y and X ang nag-alaga ng business, tapos nasira yung business through their fault, then any of Y and X ay babayaran ng buo yung amount na yun. Let's say 20,000 yung amount, then 20,000 din ang pwedeng isingil kan Y or pwede din isingil kan X. Okay, ang haba naman itong How about solution and debity? Pag solution and debity lang po, ganito lang yan. What if si rider ang Lazada is yung kailangan niya talaga i-deliver sa isang sabon lang, pero yung nabigay sa iyo 2 sabon. Again, isang sabon lang daw pero 2 sabon. Tapos binayaran mo siya ng amount na sa isang sabon lang 20 pesos. So itong sabon na to, yung extra is kailangan mong ibalik ka na rider kasi nga sabon. Another classic example, sabay yung sukli, mali yung na-deliver na product or sabay. Okay, pag mali yung sukli, say nagbabayad 100 pesos yung fare, tapos yun, 100 pesos yung kailangan bayaran, tapos yung manong driver, kung lutang siya, binigyan ka pa ng 50 pesos kasi akala niya 50 pesos lang pero talagang 100 pesos, sobra yung sukli or talagang nagkamali lang. So dapat din i-reimburse mo yung pera o kailangan mo ibalik sa kanya. Another example, yung sa funeral expense. Yan, pag funeral expense, yung example natin dati, magkaroon ng bagyo. Kung magkaroon man ng bagyo, let's say nagkaroon ng bagyo. Okay na, nagkaroon ng bagyo, namatay si X. Tapos ito, nakita ni Y. Ito yung namatay na. Nadedalog si X. Nakita ni Y si X, then inilibing niya. Nagkaroon ng funeral. Ang nagastos ng funeral is si Y. Siya ang nagastos ng lahat ng bayarin. Ngayon, si Y pwede niyang i-reimburse lahat ng money sa parent niya. Sa parent niya. So, sa panmama niya, mama and papa, pwede niyang i-reimburse. What if naman daw, sir, tita lang niya yung nakita? Hindi po pwede i-reimburse. So, dapat mama or papa or sino yung may duty of the support sa kanya. Number 4, sir, what if the leak? Ito yung marami ito, no? So, pag the leak is an act or emission of punishable by law, pag may criminal liability, then ang civil liability. What are the civil liability arising from criminal acts? Restitution, reparation of damage caused, indemnification cost of damages. So, isa nyo na yan. What are the proof or necessary criminal liability and civil liability? So, ano yung pinagkaiba ng criminal liability sa civil liability? So, yung criminal liability, proof beyond the reasonable doubt when Civil liability, preponderance of evidence. So, pag criminal liability lang po, kunya during the court, if the judge, we can say that the judge can sleep soundly at night, or talagang malinis ang konsensya na talagang no doubt at all, na talagang sure talaga siya na ikaw yung may kasalanan based on the evidence na nakalagay. So, beyond the reasonable doubt, that is a criminal liability. So, what is civil liability naman? So, ito naman yung preponderance of evidence. Kunyari, yung defendant against the plaintiff, paramihan ng evidence, then there is a 50, 60, 70 chance na 30-70% papataasan kayo. There is still a doubt na hindi ka guilty sa ginawa mong krimen. So, instead na ikulong ka, pagbabayarin ka na lang ng pera, amount of civil liability. How about acquittal? So, acquittal, person is not guilty of the crime with which the person has been charged. Did not do the act due to reasonable doubt, there can still be a civil liability. Judgment that the person is not guilty of the crime with which the person has been charged. A. Did not do the act, there is no civil liability. Due to reasonable, there can still be civil liability. Ang so pag kunyari, nanalo ka sa court, hindi ka naman daw guilty. Pero yung damage na na-cause mo sa victim, babayaran nyo pa rin siya. So that is a civil liability. Kung there is a reasonable doubt pa rin, you can still be liable for civil. Sino yung mga exempt sa criminal liability? So we have here imbecile or insane person. So sino yung mga tao na buang or baliw. So walang tama sa pag-iisip. Number 2, person under 18 of age. So minor age. Any person who acts under the compulsion of irresistible force. Let's say, threaten ka ng magnakaw. Kung hindi, papatayin niya yung magulang mo. So due to irresistible force is kailangan mong gawin yun. So you are still exempt from criminal liability. Who acts under the impulse of a total fear of equal greater injury. Same lang kanina, no? Kung natakot ka na gawin yung pagkakamali na yun, then that is still exempt from criminal liability. Who are the exempt? For the person exempt from both civil. Siyempre, number 1, wala kang dapat bayaran kung self-defense lang yon. Let's say, nandun nga sa krimen na yon, magpapatay na lahat. Then, innocent ka sa mga pangyayari, then you have to defend yourself from the people attacking you. If someone have a knife, then you learn jujutsu, karate, then you have to defend yourself. Then accidentally you choose violence also, then you get the knife, then stab him or her, kung sino man yung gumawa ng krimen. So that is a self-defense. How about performance of his duty or obligation? The performance of his duty or obligation, so let's say yung soldier, kung nakita nyo na, kung duty niya talagang pumatay, then he's still exempt from criminal and civil liability. Kasi nasa duties niya yun na protektahan, or true wars, ganun nga, kailangan niya talagang pumatay. Now, woman suffer from battered woman syndrome. Kung yung mga babae na inabuso ng kanyang asawa, tapos kailangan mo talagang patayin yung kanyang para lang makatakas siya. So, that is also exempt from civil and criminal liability. Number 5, quasi-dislict. Negligence and wrong pre-existing control relation between parties. Number 1, no pre-existing relation between the offender and offended parties. Allow filing of civil action based on the presence of contact relation if the constitutive act on itself, wrongful act commission, damage or injury, direct connection or relation to cause and effect. So, dapat sa quasi-delete, walang pre-existing relation. Kunyari, talagang walang contract na nangyari before na nangyari yung krimen na yan, or Number 2, wrongful act. Siyempre, kailangan may wrongful act na nangyari. Then, there is a still damage. May nasugatan talaga, may na-injured. And direct causal connection relation to cause and effect. So, kailangan talaga yung kung sino yung gumawa, siya rin yung dapat sinilin. Ano yung classic example natin dito? Kunyari, nagda-drive ka, then nabunggo mo yung isang tao dahil sa kalisingan mo, then namatay yun. So there is walang contract, di ba? Wala namang relationship kayo sa isa. There is a wrongful act. So paano yung wrongful act natin? Nabunggo natin yung innocenteng tao na yon, then kayo nakainom, di ba? There is a damage or injury, so namatay siya. So there is a direct causal connection or relation to cause and effect. Okay, ano yung cause? Nabunggo mo, nakainom ka, nabunggo mo, then ano yung effect? Namatay siya. So, kung existing po lahat to, there is a quasi-delete na nangyari. Then, there is also a delete. Diba? Delete, sir, kasi negligence, imprudence, no? Kasi, obligation mo, diba? May lisensya ka, kailangan mo magmaneho ng tama. Okay, we have here vicarious liability. Ano naman yung vicarious liability? So, sa vicarious liability, these are the following responsible of damage caused by. Kung minor or children who live in their company, we have father in case of death of capacity. So, kung nakita natin sa mga television, di ba, pag minor children, yung kadalasang nakukulong dyan is yung papa. And, pag wala si papa, si mama. So, kasi obligation ng parent na turuan ng moral lesson or any lesson yung kanyang anak. So, kung they're unsuccessful na ituro yon sa kanila, then they are one to be blamed for the liability na ginawa ng kanilang mga anak. Number 2, sir, what if naman, sir, minors or incapacitated person? Siyempre, ikaw yung mag-aalaga as a guardians, yung dapat mag-aalaga sa kanila. Kasi alam mo naman na incapacitated yung person na yun, tergo ka pa rin ng krimen, ikaw pa rin yung sisisiyan. Now, employees in the service branch in which they are employed or occasion of their functions. So, owners and manager or enterprise. So, kunyari, waiter, di ba? Tapos, sinaksak niya ng tinidor yung isang customer. So, yung pwedeng sisingin dito yung manager kasi dapat within the business course is talagang there's a supervision sa kanyang mga employee. Tsaka isa pa, dapat sila yung nag-hire ng tama na tao talaga, which will behave in accordance with his or her duty. Next, we have employers. Again, same lang ng kanina. Kung magkamali si employee, sa employers yung pwedeng sisiyan. The state, special agent, except when the damage was caused by official to whom the task done properly and trains. Next, yung pupils or students. So, alam ko naman to, alam nyo na, paano ipasaway yung pupil student, syempre, during the class or tapos, nandun naman si teacher. Si teacher ang pwedeng sisiyan kasi he have the also a duty to teach his student a good manners. So, kailangan niya rin. So, sila yung mga teachers din na pwedeng magkaroon ng liability against the action to them. Okay. What are the defenses? So, kung nagkaroon naman ng diligence sa pag-good the father, kanina nga, kung talagang pinakita naman ng magulang na tinuruan siya ng maayos yung mga anak nila, or let's say yung sa head, no, there is always a supervision, there are always a seminar na ginagawa sa kanila, since then pwede nila itong sabihin sa court. Okay, quasi-delete and delete, yan yung pinagkaiba. Okay, pag quasi-delete, private right lang. Delete, public right. Pag quasi-delete, private plaintiff versus plaintiff. Pag delete, people of the Philippines versus states. Okay, skip natin to na. So there is only, kasi nilesson talk natin kanina. Okay. Sir, possible ba magkaroon ng multiple source of obligation? Possible po. Okay, again, itong example. If D is a taxi driver, the accident killed X, a pedestrian, injured P, its passenger. The owner of taxi is O, and the employer is of X. Okay, nabunggo. Then, ito yung kotse, no? Ito yung kotse. Then, nabunggo niya si ito. Tapos, may passenger siya. Ano yung mga source of obligation? Nabunggo niya to na. Nabunggo niya. On the part of D, yung driver, ano yung magiging liability niya? Siyempre, ang nabunggo niya, magiging liability niya doon is number 1, delete. Delete kasi reckless of imprudence resulting to homicide. Kasi namatay niya, no? Tapos, number 2 naman, quasi-delete naman kasi all requisites are present. Ano yung mga requisite natin? Number 1, no pre-existing relationship, there's a wrongful act, damage or injury, or causal relationship. Number 2, we have quasi. Delete na kanina, and contact cannot be part of liability of part of P. Kasi bakit hindi pwede yung contract? Kasi first of all, there is no pre-existing relationship between sa namatay and yung driver. Nagkaroon ng contact between the passenger and yung employer, yung company. So there is a contract between them. On part of O, yung employers, ano yung pwede natin? So, una, number 1, again, same lang, delete. And number 2, quasi-delete. Sa delete po, kasi si employer, pwede natin isingilin. Pwede natin siyang singilin sa nagawang krimen ng driver. Quasi-delete naman, there is a vicarious liability of employer. Same lang ng kanina. Sa passenger, tatlo na. Number 1, delete. Number 2, quasi-delete. And number 3, contract. Nagkaroon na ng contract between the passenger and the employer. Yun, okay. Siyempre, double recovery are not allowed. Siyempre, kung nanalo ka na sa isang civil liability na 2 million, tapos yung sa 3 million, hindi pwedeng ibayad sa'yo both. So, dapat isa lang, whichever is higher. How about, so yun lang na. So, there are 38 minutes. Anyway, sa mga manonood nito, I'm very appreciated ko sa inyo. So, sana mapasa nyo yung exam. So, first topic pa lang. Thank you.